You can do it. You can have anything you set your mind to. In fact, abundance is your birthright. You create your own reality. Whatever you set your mind to can be yours. And the fact of the matter is, this is somewhat true. In reality, we don't even really create our reality. We're co-creators of our reality. And if you really come to understand this whole thing, we're even not in the driver's seat when it comes to that. A lot of people have used the power of positive thought and the power of positive intention to create some great things in their life, but they don't create everything that they want in their life. And quite frankly, what a lot of people experience is once they get the things that they thought they wanted, they're still unhappy and unfulfilled on some level. Something was missing. You know, a lot of people also experience getting blindsided by life's journey, and things show up that they didn't want and that they didn't see coming, like an illness, a divorce, a loss of a job, or some economic collapse. It's times like these when life finally, after all that seemed to be working, isn't working, that it's time for a coach like me. I consider myself a congruency coach, and I help people see their lives in a way that they've never really considered, at a depth and perspective that was not there before. In fact, one of the things my clients experience is those things that they saw as obstacles before begin to emerge as the gifts necessary for the healing and for the lasting change and fulfillment that they're actually looking for. The irony in all this, too, is that as soon as one begins to recognize that they're not in control of their life, and really never were, is when a deeper sense of inner peace emerges and more authentic empowerment shows up. And it's from this place, then, that one's life really begins to express itself in its fullness, where their purpose and passion gets to really be expressed in their lives. You know, case in point, I know a guy that back in September resigned from his corporate job in order to go and pursue his dream of helping other people live and fulfill their dreams in life. And it was definitely a calling for him that had been emerging for the last 20 years. And once he decided to do this, he hadn't even really saved any money for this. He was just going to do what he'd always done, which is just go make it happen. So he agreed to stay on until February as part of the plan to actually get some extra money and have some resources to take on this journey. In early November, he went for a doctor visit and was diagnosed with stage 3 colon cancer. As things would have it also was at this same time that 2 very strong candidates had emerged and were already far down the interview process to replace him in his job. And so by the end of November, he was out of his job, out of his financial security, and had lost his health as well. Well, for a lot of people, when they reach the point of actually stepping into their life's purpose, one would think that that's the time to be rewarded for having taken the steps and the courage to actually do such a thing. So it wouldn't be uncommon for someone to be angry, bitter, and worried about what was to happen. But you know, not this guy. That's not how he approached this. In fact, he recognized that he's a co-creator of his life, and that things show up, and that his role, and actually his choice, is actually to see the gift in what shows up. So he went looking for that gift with a passion and energy that you see in few people. He then began to have the experience of going through the cancer and the chemo. And through that whole thing, people asked if they could pray for him. And his only request was that if they prayed for him, that in no way did they ever suggest that he win the fight against cancer or win the war on cancer. For he didn't see this as a war nor as a fight. He saw it as his dance with cancer. And that cancer was actually a messenger bringing him understandings about things in his thought processes and in his life that needed to change. So after he finished with the chemo, and by the way, didn't have even one side effect, he began revamping his entire life. So he began a really extensive juicing program where every hour he has juices and supplements and daily routines in order to restore the body's health and vitality. This is going to be a 2-year process for him, but he's embraced it with, again, the same energy and vigor that he found in all the other experience. You know, he lives today more in the moment than ever before, and seemingly very stress-free, even though he doesn't know where he's going and what will show up in his life. And while he's committed to being cancer-free, he also recognizes that cancer may be a part of his life journey, and that actually may be his highest calling. So he's committed himself to embrace whatever path shows up with the same curiosity and the same enthusiasm that he's lived this journey so far. You know, he really is more empowered today than ever before. And he's changing the lives in a positive way of the people around him by his experience. How do I know so much about this man? Because I am this man. This is my journey. You see, I work with and coach my clients to make sense out of their life, for I believe that they truly can find the answers by looking at their life from a different perspective. When they get beyond the personality and the insatiable desires for pleasure and the avoidance of pain, when they get beyond those things and start to live more authentically and understand their lives more authentically, something begins to emerge that is far more empowering and truly an expression of their purpose and passion in life. You know, I help people get out of the way of themselves so that their true self can emerge. So let me ask you, is it time for you to get out of your way?